3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome back to Show Me Trucks. In this video, I am trying to get free disc brakes for the front of my 1950 Suburban build. So I bought a bunch of parts, pulling everything apart, and then selling off all the other parts to hopefully, in the end, have free disc brakes. So let's get into the video. All right, well, the first issue I'm dealing with this axle. I wanted to test it before I pulled everything off, but I've read, and the guy even told me, and he sent me a whole bunch of washers. And I was like, I'm sorry, but I'm not running all those behind my wheels. So basically, this caliper on these 16-inch rims is like crazy close. And you can see they already grinded down this caliper a little bit. And this is the same caliper. So you can tell, you know, they took some off, not overly crazy. Not concerned. I know some of you guys are super worried if you do anything to brakes, but my one thing that I was like weirded out on is like this plate that goes on here. These Allen bolts, when they're tight, that plate is still loose. So let me blow your mind. If you know that the stock wheels don't fit, maybe just make a wide enough spacer plate for one that is tight whenever you tighten it down, and two, that way it spaces your wheels out enough. Or just make the whole thing wide enough in general. But they must make it narrow if you want to switch wheels and run something else. You have that option, but still, I'd want that plate to be tight. I still don't know. Maybe, I don't know if the Allen heads are bottoming out or why they're not letting that tighten up. But so I just threw both plates on here. And so that's about 3/16. So, you know, just be ready, because that's definitely going to make a rim sit out a little more. And obviously, I don't even like it that close. And I hate how if I did replace the caliper, I need to go grind on a brand new caliper. But someone already did it, so I don't feel bad about it. But now I know it's running. It's just kind of like, well, if it flexes, you know, these rims aren't amazing. If it flexes, is it going to hit too much? Probably not, but just something to be aware of. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that off and use that as a template and just make me another spacer. I'd rather run one big spacer than 100 little washers. And again, not trying to cry about it, but I can't believe they run all these, like, they ran 2 washers and a lock washer, which suck, behind the wheel. So yay, that was crazy. I won't be doing that, but I do want to pull this up on the table. It was just something I wanted to check before I pulled all these parts off. All right, well, after blowing my back out, I got both these straight axles up there. Let's see the difference. Again, I don't know the exact brand of this axle, but it looks just like Speedway and Brothers. So basically what you get with that SIDS kit is, you know, tie rod ends, threaded, jam nuts. You know, if you're super stressed, I mean, it's just like a 4-link bar, except for it's got tie rod ends on it. That replaces this setup. And these, if you don't know, are basically I don't have one out. Basically a ball, and then there's a spring in there and 2 cups. So there's a lot of play in there. Obviously, that's why everyone goes to these later. Also, these are like tapered. You know, your tie rod ends are tapered, and then it jams up in there. You have a jam nut, and you have a cotter pin. Just safety-wise, it's nice. I know these have a cotter pin, but I've never really liked these that much. That spring can break, issues. This to replace is not that bad. So what I'm seeing, obviously, what you guys should probably be seeing too, is that basically on your stock setup, your link bar sits on top of this arm, and on this drop spindle setup, it sits below the arm. So if I were just to throw these arms on here, which I could totally do, it will drop that below your axle. So that means you would smash your link bar before anything else. So me, I'd rather taper it this way, run that on top. I think that would also give you a little more space with your wheel and everything. And it doesn't seem like it would give you any issues because it's about the same width as the tie rod. So I think what I'm going to do is keep these pieces with this bar. So if someone wants it, you know, you can buy it and have that set up. Me, I'm going to have to buy a 7-degree taper and taper these ends. But all these bars I thought maybe were cast different, but I think they're just factory, whatever you call these bars. And I think they just tapered it for you. And I've heard some guys say that they have to like weld this hole up and then drill it and then taper it. I'm not there yet, but that's something I have to do, which does concern you a little bit because you do put a lot of heat and fix zone whenever you weld on stuff. But, you know, people have been doing it for a minute. So I'm going to keep these bars and then sell those, keep my disc brake set up, and I'm just going to pull that whole spindle assembly off and put it on here. And obviously check and make sure the kingpin bore is nice and everything. But this one, I wish I would have filmed it before I pulled it off, but there's like a sleeve on the bottom that's like starting to come out. So I don't know if the bushing got loose in there or someone, whenever they hammered it on, hammered it in too deep. But besides that, obviously you see the height difference. You know, it lifts your axle up. It lifts your spindles up, which lowers your truck. But I don't want any of that. I want a stock height truck with some knobbies. Is what I'm going for. The other thing I have to do is, this is like your steering arm. So he had one, but it wasn't with him. So he was going to find it, but like I said, it's a 3-hour drive each way. So if I have to get a taper for the other ends, I might as well taper it. That way I can use the ball joint setup on this. Also, I'm happy all this looks fairly similar. Obviously theirs looks way cleaner than mine, but yeah, I'm gonna pull this crusty one back off of here and then pull apart the newer one. My other thought was that if I tried to reuse this setup on here, that I don't think I would have enough clearance. Like if the tie rod in is underneath, I think it's gonna hit on your axle here. So that's something to be aware of. Like if you just bought those and just decided you would run this all underneath, I don't know if you can do that without maybe bending that piece up, and I wouldn't want it that close anyway. And I think that'll mess with your alignment here too, because this comes up and then that keeps that bar nice and flat. Well, so I want all mine to come in from the top. That way this link bar, I think they call it a drag link or something, stays flat with the steering arm. So hopefully it's not horrible to pull all this apart. I do want to just keep all this hardware and stuff. That's another reason I wanted to keep the whole spindle set up, because it's probably like nice and clean. It seemed whoever did this seemed like they did a pretty good job. So I want to keep all that nice hardware, and I'm gonna check kingpins and stuff. But whoever buys this, they're gonna probably want to put a new kingpin setup in anyway. Hopefully I can sell that for what I paid for it. Get my money back. this is a reminder for you guys to check your stuff. All I did was break these 2 bolts loose, and not even that loose, and I haven't even cracked those yet. And this whole thing can move around, the same with that side. So trust me, I'm guilty of it too. Whenever I pulled apart my 67, I could not believe how much stuff was loose. Periodically checking your truck so things don't fall off would be nice. I was just gonna take it all off in one unit, but I'm going through it anyway, so I might as well just pull it all into pieces, clean everything. Another reason why I'm using these spindles is because, you know, usually spindles aren't that bad as long as the bearings and parts have been on it, because they're usually covered in grease, and unless they're real worn out. But the amount of money they spend on this truck, I'm assuming they bought new spindles. Maybe not, but I'm assuming they did. And then even if not, I just figured these are in better shape because this axle and everything on this truck has been disgusting. And I know the other truck, I think they had the drums off and different stuff, so I was like, yeah, let me make sure and take these nice ones, and then I'll just toss these on there for whoever, or maybe not even toss them on there. They can do what they want. So, yay. Not that bad. Pretty easy, you know. It'd be nice to bolt everything down so you didn't have to, or do it on the truck. But obviously my Suburban isn't here. This freaking 36 is still here. Come on, people. Throw me some money. Let's buy this thing. Get it out of here. The only thing left is this pin. Hold your kingpin in. This is what I was showing you. I want to say there's bushings in here, and it obviously got pushed out whenever they're pushing that kingpin in. So unless that wheeled out while they're driving, but you would think that would cause some issues. And then this side's not like that. So curious once I get in there. Okay, well, set all the parts to the side. Obviously I'm gonna clean everything and grease it before I put it back together. But now it's time to pull this axle apart. My goal is to do it as quick as possible. I'm trying to post this drop axle for sale before the holidays because I don't have daycare next week. So I won't be getting much done at all. So try to take this apart as quick as possible. The only thing that kind of sucks is I need the steering arms off. If not, I would just drop the kingpins out and pull the axle apart. But it'll take a second. Well, again, like I say in all my videos, if the camera's not on, it's usually because I'm pissed and I had a horrible time. And that's true again. Pulling that off sucked. Those kingpins were just crazy tight in there. And then whenever you remove those, you can, if you try to leave your backing plates on, you can't hit them down. You have to hit them up. And then you also don't get a very good straight shot at it. But they were so crusty in there, which obviously, if you see my Suburban, you understand. But I just wanted to get them off. I was over it. I was going to pull these arms off, but I have a whole nother axle that's on the Suburban still. I think I'm just going to leave all this together, and then once I get the Suburban in, I'll pull those off and then rebuild this axle. I was planning on just putting this axle all the way together and just keeping it over here on the side, but geez, that sucked. For one, because these cotter pins are broke off in there, so I can't get those out. And yeah, sometimes you can just monster truck that nut off and it just destroys everything. But I was over it. I was like, let me just get it off of here. The positive is this axle looks really good. It doesn't look bent or anything wrong with it. I was really afraid something was wrong with the boards, but man, these boards are tighter than the newer axle that I had. So I can get those kingpins in, which is nice. So I'll use the kingpins that were in that axle because I'm assuming they're newer. And it's really tight bore. I probably just need to kind of clean up this outside lip, you know, because if you think about it, that washer and everything kind of wears on that. So I just want to make sure that little lip doesn't have a little edge. Obviously, I'm just going to wire wheel like just this corner. But again, like I said, I don't think I'm going to actually build it all back up right now because I need those arms it kind of doesn't make sense to put it all together without those arms. This is the exciting world of buying and selling truck parts. You get a lot of work to make a little bit of money. All right, well, I'm gonna wrap it up for the day and probably the video, because I think the rest of it, you know, is the reverse of what I did before. But basically, like I said, I need those steering arms. They're on the Suburban, and I'm not gonna pull them off till they get in. Unless no one buys that other stuff, maybe one day I'll fool with those. But basically what I've been doing after this is I've been dry running everything. So really cleaning everything well. I want to check tolerances without grease in there. The grease, you know, fills in your tolerances. I want to see how sloppy everything is. The one thing I did notice on the drop axle, it had really thin little spacers right here. Well, the factory one has these bearings. So these are actually bearings in here. And I had to clean those out. I really need to clean them some more. And I'm going to pack them with grease, obviously, before I put that in there. These are the right ones. And then there was 2 little shims. And before they were both on one side. But now it seems to be that it's one on each. So that's pretty good. I think if I ran one more, it would be really tight. Probably wouldn't hurt, but it'd be really hard to get in also, because it's kind of, they're so thin whenever you try to push them in with that bearing, it's pretty hard. So that's what I'm dealing with a little bit. But now everything's in there. You know, the slightest little play, like there's gonna be, you know, it can't be that, you can't jam it all tight because it's, you know, they're floating bushings. So obviously there's some tolerance in there. The one thing I do need is hopefully I can find some of these little caps for the top and bottom, because that was what was going on before. That was the reason that bushing was falling out of there, which is kind of crazy. It was falling out, but it didn't fall all the way out, because they can just drop out if they want. I had put one kingpin in this side and then test fit in this side. It was tight in both, but then whenever I put the other kingpin back in here, some dirt must have got in there because it was tight. I was binding it up and I was getting all confused because I already kind of filed that top little edge to make sure there was no little ridge. And that let it drop in the first time, but then after I had to clean it again, and then now it's in, it's all smooth and everything was tight. But you just gotta be careful. I mean, a little bit of dirt in there will get stuck, you know, and dirt is sometimes metal or rocks. And so it's just interesting to see the old technology, but I love how simple it is. I won't lie, I really do. But you know, driving wise, the simpler, usually the worse it drives. Thanks for watching. Later.